Philippines is barely heard of. That is why big families do not even create major foundations as tax shelters. At least in America, you have that. That is a source of income. Inheritance taxes should be a major source of income. Another of my visions would be to really see major subsidies for agriculture, for the small farmers and the small cooperatives. I am against the GMO because GMO development would mean we would only have to buy our inputs with very scarce foreign currency from abroad. We would be a vassal of Monsanto if we agreed to GMOs. Yes, GMOs increases the yield, but we have to buy fertilizer and all chemicals from Monsanto. And the sad thing with GMOs is that seeds cannot be regenerated. You have to buy seeds constantly. That goes against my very advocacy of self-sufficiency in the Philippines. We could create an organic niche because there is a major value added for organic crops. And yet, President Estrada allowed Monsanto to come in and Mrs. Arroyo opened the floodgates for GMOs. There is a study I read in Cotabato about farmers getting extremely sick because of exposure to GMO chemicals and seeds. I think they're telling me to shut up. As a last note, yes, I am for stopping corruption, but stopping corruption is not enough if only the top 20 corporations get rich. I am for income distribution, but not against private ownership. We can redistribute this income to have a very good middle class. The fact that 10 years after the East Asian crisis, we have another major global economic crisis says something that markets are imperfect. And the more undeveloped the country is, the more government has to intervene until such time as things can be privatized. Look what Mahathir did. You know, Stiglitz also said that the IMF pushed too much capital account liberalization. During the fall of currencies in 1997, Mahathir defied the foreign masters and prevented capital flight from his country until such time as things stabilized. We would be so scared to do that in the Philippines because we feel that if we do not toe the line of the developed countries, then we wouldn't be like them. But they didn't get to be like that by following other people's rules. They got to be like that by protecting their geopolitical sovereignty and protecting their national sovereignty. So we cannot run before we walk. Yan lang po. Salamat. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Jamby Madrigal, for those strong insights.
That's right, Mitch. Since Senator Madrigal only announced her candidacy over the weekend, you could say that this is the first time we're listening to her economic platform, at least for her presidential campaign. And as you can tell from that presentation, it's a vastly different analysis, vastly different point of view from the other presidentials. A point of view indeed that will enrich the presidential debates, the purpose of this particular forum.
I believe she'll be giving our panel of the actors a tough job.
That's right. Senator Madrigal, please stay behind because we know we had a time limit and we apologize for that, but we will give you a chance to react to the responses of our panel. So let's call back our panel of reactors. Once again, Mr. Lim,
Mr. Jimenez,
Mr. Lacson, and Mr. Reyes.
Mr. Reyes. Our Senator Jamby Madrigal talked about that the capital market is not perfect, and that any unfettered globalization is bad for the economy.
That's true. Obviously, Senator Madrigal bringing a nationalist perspective, one would even say anti-free trade, peace restricted free trade environment in the country. Let's begin. Mr. Lacson, your response.
Well, on the side of business, we are impressed with the fierce nationalism and the genuine concern of our senator on the welfare of country and people. But I guess time has already come when we cannot afford to just be inward-looking in our views, because the global regime is upon us, and globalization is like a toothpaste squeezed out of the tube, and we cannot bring it back anymore. So we just have to accept this new reality in our relationship with other nations. But business is obviously optimistic, and whatever we heard from Senator Madrigal, we take comfort in the reality that the words of a candidate is far different from the words of a winning elected official. So maybe she will have a change of mind and a change of heart when she becomes president. And she started by saying that we are going to throw her out of this room because of her ideas, which are very controversial. But we have a free market of ideas, and we don't have to do any kicking out. On the global environment, well, she said it right, and she cited about failures of institutions and businesses in her forensic analysis. But you know, in business, when we lose profit, when we lose opportunities, we don't call them failures, we just call them learning points, and we move on. On the paper, we have a very diametrically opposing view on the paper. But you know, in the setting of global trading, bilateral agreement is a necessity. And the proof of the pudding is in the eating. We have just started the review of the paper. Let's give it a little chance. And in the trade negotiation with other countries like New Zealand, Bahrain, GCCs, who are interested in entering the free trade agreement with us, the process is always a give and take. So we win some, we lose some. And that is the beauty of trade negotiation. Other than that, I don't have to add anything more.
Alright, thanks so much, Mr. Lanson. Surely Senator Madrigal will revisit your points later on. Let's move on to Alberto. Some provocative insights there from Senator Madrigal, especially on tax policy, taxation of the richest corporations and individuals.
Well, first, I would like to congratulate Senator Madrigal for being very different from all the other candidates I have heard in other fora. I mean, it's quite refreshing. It's really a breath of fresh air that she's very different, even at the risk of sounding disingenuous in that I guess she comes from a class that has profited from this economic structure. But believe it or not, I am a fan of Stiglitz. His book on globalization is one of my favorite books. I've underlined it and annotated it myself, and I agree with a lot of his ideas. I may represent the Makati Business Club, but the Makati Business Club is not monolithic. There are many different members there. The leadership now is certainly do not belong to the cronies of this administration. But we are not, like I said, we are not monolithic. You know, I heard the speaker the other day say that he talks about will the elites ever allow reform? And even with the discourse you just gave, the elites have never allowed reform. If you look at the history of time, and the poor have always been with us. And our poor today are probably better off than the poor during the Middle Ages, Dark Ages. Which is not to say that societies have not developed, moved forward when the elites have allowed it, but it's more like technological progress has allowed this, the elites to give up their rent-seeking ways.